I work as an administrator for a public organization involved in criminal justice. The organization has a complex structure due to the sensitive nature of our work. I'm in charge of a team of around 20 employees. They are managed by 4 supervisors, each responsible for a different shift. Each supervisor has a secondary assistant, so each shift has a main supervisor and a backup supervisor. My team of supervisors and employees ultimately reports to a manager who is directly below me. I oversee the entire team, and the manager reports to me. I, in turn, report to the head of the institution, who then reports to an elected official responsible for the entire department. The twist is that this department has 2 sections, and although the elected official is in charge of both, they are more directly involved in managing the other section. We have an employee who is very knowledgeable in theory, but has limited practical experience in our field. He holds a ranked assistant position on one of the shifts and works closely with the shift supervisor. Every week, he sends emails complaining about the other shifts and their mistakes. He meticulously lists every minor error, from forgetting to take out the trash to filling out a form incorrectly or interpreting a directive differently than he does. He's adamant that his approach is the only right way and believes others should be reprimanded for not following his lead. He frequently demands accountability and sends patronizing emails after new directives are issued, usually in response to someone's mistake. He even goes so far as to tell me and the head administrator how to do our jobs, suggesting that we need to personally reprimand the individual responsible for the mistake, implying that we're not competent enough to manage our team effectively. He singles out employees, complaining about their performance and demanding disciplinary action, even demotions. He criticizes my team and me for allegedly not addressing these issues, but what he doesn't know is that I've actually submitted multiple requests for disciplinary action and demotions to HR. However, the union often intervenes and overturns these decisions. This individual isn't privy to this information because personnel matters are confidential, and it's not his place to know the details of employee discipline. Despite his assumptions, action is being taken, but it's not publicly disclosed to protect the privacy of the employees involved. Lately, he's been targeting a shift supervisor from a different team, sending emails with false and misleading accusations. He's been making baseless claims about issues that don't even belong to her shift. He's also been criticizing the administrators, including me, for not being visible enough and not spending enough time with employees on every shift. He's gone as far as to say that it's easy to come in late and stay late to connect with staff, implying that we're not doing our jobs properly. He's essentially trying to tell us how to manage our teams and facility, despite not having the full picture or understanding of our responsibilities. He's pushing for monthly meetings with supervisors, claiming it will clear up confusion about directives that other shifts are allegedly mishandling. However, he's unaware that we used to have monthly meetings in the past, but they were poorly attended and unproductive. In fact, the supervisors themselves requested to switch to quarterly meetings because the monthly ones weren't effective. I understand the importance of being visible and accessible, so I make a point to visit the night shift twice a month to check in and connect with them. I also see the day shift every day. However, despite my efforts, he never takes the opportunity to speak with me during my rounds. Instead, he's often engrossed in reading or using his phone, which is allowed due to the nature of his job. Recently, he made a comment that really bothered me. I can't recall the last time I saw any of you implying that administrators like me need to be more present and hands-on. The irony is that I had visited just a week prior, but he chose to ignore that and not acknowledge my effort to connect with him and the team. I decided to take his criticism to heart and started visiting the facility more frequently. One day I approached him and said, "Why are you sitting around? You should be out there managing and taking care of tasks like cleaning, organizing, and inventory management. We don't pay you to just sit idle," but what I didn't realize is that his role is designed to be more observational, and he's supposed to be available to respond to intake requests. So my comment ended up upsetting him because In essence, we do pay him to be available and wait for tasks to arise. I confronted him about sitting in a restricted area, and he claimed it was quiet and he wasn't breaking the rules since he didn't go past a certain point. But I read him the directive, which clearly states that no one should ever go beyond that door unless it's an emergency evacuation. I asked him again why he thought it was okay to disregard this clear instruction. He still didn't see the issue and argued that it was no big deal. I told him that since he's been so vocal about demanding accountability from others, he would now be receiving a write-up for not following the rules himself. He became defensive and upset, saying it was a minor infraction and hypocritically pointing out all the small things he's complained about with the other shifts. I continued to visit the facility frequently, closely monitoring and directing the staff. Some employees approached me and asked why I was suddenly so present, wondering if we didn't trust our supervisors to do their jobs. I explained that some individuals had expressed concerns about the supervisor's ability to manage the shift effectively and wanted administrators like me to be more involved. In essence, I was trying to address these concerns and ensure everything ran smoothly. The employee who had been complaining received several more write-ups, including a major one for a serious offense that could have led to termination. This revealed that perhaps he wasn't as perfect as he claimed to be. He then sent an email to my supervisor, complaining that I was being too controlling and nitpicky with minor infractions, which he now downplayed as insignificant. However, my supervisor pointed out the hypocrisy, reminding him that he had been demanding more administrative presence and accountability for others' mistakes. It seemed he only wanted others held to a high standard, not himself, as he implied he was never wrong. I returned to my usual schedule of visiting the facility twice a month, just dropping by to see how things are going on the shift. The employee who had been complaining so much has finally quieted down, content to sit in the allowed area, reading and no longer causing issues. Story 2. I share a car with my brother. To be fair, the car is messy because of both of us, but maybe a bit more because of him. It's not super dirty, but the seats are old and stained. We also have our backpacks and school stuff scattered around in the back. One of our responsibilities is driving our stepsister to softball practice. Usually my brother takes her because I have my own sports practice at the same time, but I had a day off and my brother was sleeping, so I had to take her instead. My stepdad offered me his car, but I preferred to drive ours. When I pulled up in our car, my stepsister wouldn't get in because she said it was too messy. I told her to relax and get over it, but she kept refusing. I guess my brother has been using our dad's car to take her to practice instead. She kept bugging me about how gross our car is and refused to get in. I finally got tired of her complaining, and this is where things might have gone wrong. I told my stepsister to ask our dad for a ride and drove away because I had other places to be. About 5 minutes later, my dad called me and was really upset. He said I'm too old to behave like this and that I should have just used his car. I tried to explain that our car isn't that bad and my stepsister was overreacting, but he didn't want to listen. He was still unhappy. Now, I'm feeling confused about the whole situation and wondering what others think. Was I in the wrong?